here. And John, it's all yours.
Okay, perfect. So, welcome back, everyone. So, obviously, the next part of the session tonight would be kind of how we got hired. So, sort of CVs, portfolios, and lessons learned. So, I feel that with this, we wanted to kind of hear from people that have been in your shoes, so job seekers that have gone through the process and landed roles here in sort of Saudi gaming studios. So, obviously, joining me for this part of the session, we have Maha Mohammad, who's a senior artist at Manga Al Arabia, Hamza Bahamdan, who is game developer at Table Night Games, and Saleh Nawar, who is a game designer at Steer Studios. So I'm hoping through this next part of the session they can share their journeys and then kind of what they learn that can help you apply that to your own applications going forward. So um, just before we get started with that, I just wanted to sort of get a quick intro from each of the panelists. So pretty much sort of your name, your role, and then sort of one sentence maybe on what it is that you do in the studio that you're working in at the moment. So Maha, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you, Mr. John. If you don't mind, I'd like to talk in Arabic.
Okay.
اسمي مها محمد. أنا خريجة جامعة الإمام، تخصص موارد بشرية HR. تخصصي مرة شاطح. حاليا أنا أشتغل في المانجا العربية كرسامة كونسبت ارتست وكوميك ارتست برضو. اشتغلت على عدة أعمال. هذا في مانجا العربية. بالنسبة لي كمها محمد، بدأت شغف الرسم كان من وأنا صغيرة، كان مجرد هواية، مو شيء يعني عملي. بس متى بدأت يعني الرسم كمهنة كانت من سنة 2022 كرسامة فقط. من سنة 2022 هنا بدأت أتعلم عن الجيم ديفلوبمنت. بدأت فيها أول شيء بتعلم لغة البايثون، بعدها انتقلت لل 3D art، من ثم انتقلت لتعلم اليونيتي والأنريل إنجن. هذه كانت في سنة 22 إلى سنة 25. وهذا هو باختصار. في السنوات الماضية اشتغلت على 4 أعمال كانت كانت أعمال خارج مانجا العربية، نتكلم فيها عن الأعمال الفردية اللي أنا اشتغلت فيها. كانت 4 أعمال، كانت عملين منها ويبتون وعملين منها كانت مانجا، كلها نزلتها على تطبيق ويبتون.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Maha. Thank you. And then Hamza?
Yes, for sure. So hello everyone. Very happy to be here. My name is Hamza. I'm a game developer at Table Night Games, and I basically work there on a couple of their games. I fix bugs, build new features, create new tools to help game designers, you know, have a faster production. And yeah, that's pretty much.
No, thank you very much. And last but not least, Salah.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Saleh Nawar. I'm a game designer at Steer. I'm happy that I can finally tell everyone what I've been working on. The studio just announced that we've been working on Tom and Jerry Blast. It's our newest game, obviously in the Tom and Jerry universe. And my job is basically to make everyone miserable. I tell them my ideas, everyone hates it, and they shout at me, and I tell them please do it, and then they tell me no, and it's a very hectic job, but I love it. And yeah, so we take the game from a simple idea, we design features, we make levels, we do everything, and hopefully they don't kill us at the end. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Perfect. Well, that's very exciting news. I obviously saw that come through yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before around the Tom and Jerry IP. So you've got a
Yes.
very exciting job there ahead of you. So ultimately, I just wanted to sort of start with very much your job seeking journey. So, Salah, I'll start with you, as obviously you've just finished there. But how did you first start looking for opportunities? Obviously, coming through education, how did you first get started?
So I was not supposed to be a game designer, actually. I'm a graduate from Game Changers. That's how I came into this industry. I was working in one of the studios that came out of Game Changers. I don't know if you're familiar with the program, but there were a few indie studios that started in Saudi a few years ago, and uh, back then, as we were working, I was looking for opportunities where I can grow my skills, and that's where I started applying, and there were like really few opportunities, especially like a few years ago. There were basically like 3 companies you can apply at, and Steers was one of them. It was a very competitive time to apply. Um, but yeah, like I went through the process. It was like a very eye-opening process. Um, I had to learn a lot, especially like with the interviews that I did with them, with the sort of skills that they were looking for, um, and that's how I started with them. I would say.
Perfect, perfect. And Hamza, when you obviously were getting into the industry, how many applications do you think you sent before you started getting interviews? Was it a daunting process for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's you just keep looking for opportunities. Was I usually follow like people in the industry on LinkedIn, and try to subscribe to newsletters just to stay up to date with what is going on in the industry. And so whenever a new opportunity comes up, yeah, you just gotta make some modifications in your resume just to match like the requirements, and yeah, you just apply and hope to get accepted.
So just on that, when you are applying to the roles via LinkedIn, for argument's sake, are you then reaching out to the hiring manager or the internal recruiter to sort of notify them that you've applied and you have a strong interest in this position?
Yes, sometimes I do that, but not always. I sometimes reach out to maybe not the hiring manager, but whoever is accessible to me in that company to get more information about how can I land this role or position, or what is like the best way to apply for that role.
Yeah, no, exactly. And one of the bits of advice that I would say is for those of you that are applying for roles is try and make sure that you can reach out to somebody within the business. Um, the stats from LinkedIn within this particular part of the region is most job applications can receive anything from sort of 200 to I've seen over 2,000 for one particular job. So if you want to stand out and you want to be a differentiator, try and reach out to someone rather than just being an application within a pile, shall we say. And then Maha, a question for you is what was the hardest part of the process for you personally? What did you feel was most difficult about going through this process, trying to get that first job in the industry?
للأمانة أصعب شيء يعني واجهته هو إن تخصصي أساسا كان HR. I graduated from HR. فشو اسمه فهو الشيء الوحيد اللي أنا خلاني أحتار هل أكمل في مجال الآرت أو أكمل في مجال الاتش ار. بس شغفي كان الباشن حقي كان الجيم ديفلوبمنت، الكوميكس، الأشياء هذه. لهالسبب أنا انتقلت صراحة للرسم والآرت والتخصص هذا، المسار هذا.
Perfect, perfect. And for any one of the three of you now, was there a breakthrough moment where things just started clicking through the applications that you were making? Was it sort of something that you maybe did differently, or did it just feel like your luck was in when you maybe got invited to those first interviews?
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe I could answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe like one of the times where I started like getting more interviews was after I like graduated from a boot camp I was in with the Saudi Digital Academy, where I like gathered a little bit of experience, worked on a couple of projects, and I also like started joining a couple of game jams. So I had something to show in my portfolio, which made like recruiters like gave them the chance to be able to see some of my work and see some of like my potential.
Yeah, that's great. And I was going to ask is kind of how did you manage to showcase your coding skills? Did you have a website? Did you host it elsewhere? What did you do to show your sort of programming skills?
Um, Honestly, I do have a website. Yeah, I did have a personal website, and I also used to showcase my the games that I worked on HIO, the website. For
Yeah,
those of you who don't know HIO, it's a marketplace or like a website or a platform for game developers and creators to showcase their work or publish like their game assets, music and whatever. So that really helped me to like have my playable game up there and like it's ready to be tested, and I can also have put on like a descriptive a description of like what did I work on, what was my role in that project, what are the mechanics that I did.
okay, perfect. And Hamza, why I've got you here, would you say that there was any mistakes that you made early on that you'd warn others to avoid?
Mistakes that I did. Let me think. Like maybe working without version control. I think version control is really important. Maybe this is a little bit technical, but yeah, having like backing up your game files, working, especially when you're working with a team, it's very good to have version control, a system. For example, the most used nowadays, I think, is Git with GitHub. So you always want to make sure that your work is on the cloud. You don't know what might happen to your like computer. Not only that, but it is also good for like your other colleagues or teammates to also know what have you done like in the past week or in the past or like recently, what specific files did you change, and all that important information.
No, perfect. And um, Salah, question for you here. So, what would be one thing that you'd absolutely recommend everyone in here should do with their sort of CV or portfolio from your experience? Obviously, not from what I was saying earlier, but from the experience that you've had. What
So,
would you say to everyone here?
so I want to build on what you were saying, but kind of take it into something more specific to game design.
Yeah,
So you were talking about portfolio, and to me, honestly, also this builds on Hamza's answer. I think the biggest differentiator and the thing that worked for me was having what I would consider maybe not a strong portfolio, but like a clear portfolio or something that they could look at and say like, okay, like we see what you did, we see like your contribution in the portfolio. You were talking earlier about for game designers how they can do deconstructions to really showcase their portfolio. I think deconstructions are an amazing skill for designers, but unfortunately they're only like one part of the job that they have to focus on, which is analytical skills. So definitely do deconstructions as much as you can, but also would like to see prototypes if you can. Show me take a mechanic, any mechanic that you can do, one room mechanic. It doesn't have to, I don't expect like full-on games. We don't care about like the art in the game or anything. We just want to see like, oh, you took this one small toy and you showed me something fun, something I can play. If you can put it on a mobile device, if you can put it on, if I can't play it, at least show it to me in a video, anything that I can see that, oh, this person is trying to show me something fun. That would go a long way. So when I was able to show the people I was doing interviews with, like, look, I made this little game. You can see the video of it. You can see the little trailer. I was responsible for doing these mechanics. These are the problems that we faced. This is how I solved them. This is the challenges that we're facing. When I was able to show them my problem-solving skills, how I would handle the sort of problems they would face and they were facing, that's when they were interested in me as a candidate. It wasn't just telling them like, oh, I'm really passionate about game design, or I really hope you have to consider me, or I deconstructed this one game. Like, it was really showing them the type of skills that I can bring to the team, and doing that with a strong portfolio of like, here's 5 prototypes that I built. This is what I learned from them. These are 5 game jams that I went to. This is one that I won, and this is what I contributed to that team. These are like really amazing things that you can like really stand out. And to me, like, this is the one thing I feel like, if there's one thing you take from me today, just take this one thing, like really work on your portfolio. I think it's like really sage advice from John. I think like it's really worth it, and it would open doors for you guys.
No, that's amazing, Saleh. And I think that I said it earlier, and I'll say it until I run out of breath pretty much. I think your portfolio is vitally important, and it really does boil down to the contributions that are in there and what you can bring to it. It's like I mentioned earlier, saying you've worked on X, Y, and Z is great, but what did you actually do? What is your strengths within that particular project, or etc.? I think if you can get that information across to the person who's reading it, viewing it, or down the line interviewing you, that's going to be the most important piece of information that myself or Saleh will be able to give to you and recommend that. So
I totally agree.
Thank you very much for that. So Maha, when you were applying for jobs earlier on in your career, and you maybe didn't hear back from studios straight away, or companies weren't responding to your applications, how did you stay motivated during that? Because it can be a really difficult time for job applicants when you're applying. You find a job that you think is a great fit for you. It's a company or a studio that you really want to work in. So you send that application and you just cross your fingers and pray and hope that you will ultimately get that call back from the recruiter, or from the internal talent, or from the hiring manager themselves. When that doesn't happen, how did you stay motivated and stay focused on keeping trying and not falling flat and thinking maybe I need to look at something else?
When I graduated from the college, I was recruiter, because I graduated HR.
I don't need to tell you anything then.
Yes, and after that I started my position as artist in manga العربية.
Yeah.
From the hiring manager itself, he talked to me. هو بالبداية كنت أشتغل ك HR موظفة في واحدة من الشركات. بعدها في سنة 2022 بدأت مسيرتي في مانجا العربية كرسامة سينيور آرتست لحد الآن، من 2022 لحد الآن 2025. فكان للأمانة كان الترشيح من المدير نفسه، من المانجر نفسه. ففي مساري هذا في حدود 2022 إلى 2025، هنا أنا بدأت أعرف وش الكي اللي يخليني أنا ممكن أوصل مستوى مختلف. يعني أنا ما كان عندي أي خبرة في الجيم ديفلوبمنت، ولا كان عندي أي خبرة في البروجرامينج، بس بدأت السلسلة هذه. أول شيء حضرت مثل الكورس في دي جي بن، كان الكورس عن الجيم ديفلوبمنت. هذاك الكورس هو اللي ألهمني، كان الكورس عن يونيتي. ألهمني إنه فعلا الشخص ممكن ينتقل من مجال إلى مجال، يعني كيف شخص من HR إلى بروجرامر. فبدأت أتعلم اليونيتي، حسيت إنه شيء بسيط وحلو وممتع، فقلت خلاص أنا ببدأ أتعلم أسهل لغة في البرمجة، ألا وهي البايثون، تعتبر الأسهل. فبدأت أتعلم بايثون، بدأت أتعلم السي شارب، من ثم السي بلس بلس، عشان يونيتي أنريل إنجن، لأن يونيتي تستخدم السي شارب، الأنريل إنجن يستخدم السي بلس بلس. فهنا بدأت أتعلم البروجرامينج. بعد هذا بدأت أتعلم 3D، عشان الأسيتس اللي أنا بصنعها للجيم حقتي أبيها تكون من صنعي أنا. فبدأت أتعلم 3D وعن طريق بلندر وزي برش، والحمد لله والشكر أتقنت هذا الشيء. أخذت كورسات عن طريق يوديمي، وأخذت برضو كورسات عن طريق كورسات مدفوعة يعني غالبا، وحتى من اليوتيوب. فالحمد لله خلصت المجال هذا اللي هو مجال الرسم، 3D، التصاميم، الديزاين، البروجرامينج، الأشياء هذه. وبعدها بدأت أدخل شوي أتعمق زيادة في ستوري تيلينج. Now I'm working on my own game. It's game like simulation farm. It's like story of season, harvest moon. إيه يعني على أساس إن شاء الله إني بكون لي الاستوديو الخاص فيني indie game إن شاء الله.
Perfect. Well, I think it's great that you managed to move from HR into game development.
Yes.
Or into game art. I wish I could move from talent into working on games. I've missed out on that myself. But so thank you very much. So ultimately, so Hamza, before I move on to my next section, because I feel that Maha, we've got really good insight into obviously your experience and how you transitioned across. And luckily you were headhunted, which I thought was fantastic, saved you applying for too many jobs. And obviously, Saleh, we've heard about from yourself. But for Hamza, what advice would you give to someone who feels maybe their portfolio isn't quite ready yet? Because we covered that earlier, that it can be quite difficult to build a portfolio without too much experience per se.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give to someone who feels their portfolio isn't quite ready to start applying for jobs just yet?
Yeah, honestly, you could, if you are looking for specific companies that you want to apply for, maybe look at what type of games are they working on. Are they only doing mobile games? Okay. Okay, in mobile games, what do we really need? Okay, we need maybe authentication. What are some like technologies that are popular for authentication? So okay, we see Firebase. Okay, let me try to make a mobile game that uses Firebase for authentication. Okay, we see that we want they are working on multiplayer games. So what are some popular libraries that are used in Unity for making multiplayer games? So we see that there's like Photon. Okay, so I want to learn how to set up Photon and Firebase in a Unity project, and so I can include that in my portfolio. And this is like really important for whenever you're applying. On the other side, if you like don't really have a specific company that you are like applying for, you can always like find a game that you like, look at a specific mechanic they are doing, and just try and make that mechanic, which is very entertaining. Honestly, I'm sure you guys like really love playing that certain game. Hollow Knight, Silk Song just dropped. You want to learn how they made their like pogo mechanic. So and just open Unity, just try making some of these mechanics, and you don't know what you might end up with. Maybe you might end up with something better, and you can always put that somewhere in your portfolio after you're done.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hamza. I think that's a really good bit of insight for everybody there. And kind of before we sort of get to sort of the Q&A section, I kind of just want to sort of talk about some sort of key takeaways for success. And this could be something that you could all answer individually, but I'll start with you, Saleh. if you could just give one tip to whether it's an artist, a programmer, or a designer that's in this room, what would that one tip be?
Tip for success?
Yeah.
Wow.
In order to help them land that sort of foot in the door, or get their sort of first opportunity within a studio here within the region.
Thank you for starting with me. Well, one tip for success. Wow. Let me think about that. That's a very good question. I think just not giving up. I think especially for game designers, I know that you might hear that, yes, there's a lot of opportunities for programmers and artists. That might sound like, oh, there isn't a chance for me to become a game designer. There are opportunities here in Saudi. The market for everyone. The market is developing. It is in its infancy, but it is developing. There are opportunities opening up more and more. So as long as you have the will, as long as you keep persistent, and as long as you believe that you can do this, you will be able to do it. It is hard. It's not easy. We kind of romanticize the idea of game development because we all have the passion for game development, but and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but it is also a hard career that requires a lot of hard work. So as long as you keep trying, keep your head in the game, you will succeed. You just need to believe in yourself, and you're not an imposter. There's no time for imposter syndrome. You just have to actually get to work, do those games, finish those prototypes, get everything ready, get your portfolio ready, get your CV ready, start applying, find those opportunities, join those communities, and you'll get there. You'll get there in a few years. You'll find yourself suddenly invited by Ray, giving a talk to some masterclass on NEOM. You'll get there. Just keep at it. Yeah.
Perfect. And just to echo on that, obviously the industry in Saudi is one of the fastest I'm seeing in terms of growing gaming markets. I know there's lots of news reports saying it is the fastest growing gaming market globally, and from someone who's somewhat sat on the outside looking in, I do see that. The amount of studios that are coming through, the initiatives run by the likes of NEOM, and from the investment partners that you have in the kingdom, I think that the opportunities will come thick and fast. There's not so many just now, but in 6, 9, 12 months, maybe even sooner, I envision that there'll be a lot more opportunities available.
The opportunities are coming, but you have to be ready, and you have to be at your best when they are here. So there's no time to slack off. There's no time to take them for granted just because you're Saudi, just because you happen to have the right qualifications. Even when you get the opportunities, you'll find very quickly you have to be at the top of your game. Otherwise, people will realize oh, this is a hard job and you're not prepared for it. So you have to be ready. So do your best.
Definitely. This is the time to start working on those portfolios so that when the jobs are available, you can be front of line with a fully up-to-date and polished portfolio to give yourself the best opportunity. So thank you very much, Saleh. And then Hamza, similar question to you. If you could just give that, I know Saleh's just given a great bit of advice to everybody there, but is there anything that you feel that you could add to that as well?
Yes, for sure. Building on top of Saleh's answer, we should always keep on learning. There's always room for improving. New technologies always improve. Like Unity keeps on adding new features to their engine. Version 6.2 just dropped. They have new features. They have new ways to improve your workflow. So always keep on improving and keep on learning. Find out what are some of the most used packages that are being used in Unity, and learn how to work with those. Yeah, another advice I would give is to which helped me, which is like to subscribe to game dev newsletters. There's a specific one called Game Dev Digest. I'm gonna write it down, which like I really like, because they give you like very specific like videos or tutorials on how to create new features and like for example, how do you create this effect on that specific game, and which is really helpful to you know keep on growing and to like widen expand your knowledge.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, Hamza. And then finally, before I sort of conclude this and we get onto the Q&A, Maha, is there anything that any bits of advice that you could give to everyone to just help them out on this journey?
Yes, my life advice is just 1 hour in a day for 20 days is enough to make you learn a new skill. هو بس ساعة واحدة، هي معلومة، ترى معلومة حقيقية، هي ساعة واحدة فقط لمدة 20 يوم تخليك تتعلم يعني مجال جديد تماما. متى أنا تعلمت هذا الشيء؟ لما تعلمت البرمجة البايثون كانت سنة 2024 في 3 months I learned Python with the Harvard course and I gained the certification with the complete grade. الواجبات جميعها ولا المشروع النهائي كان الحمد لله وشكر كامل فقط في 3 شهور. هو بس ساعة واحدة، دائما أقول ساعة واحدة في 20 يوم كفيلة إنك تتعلم مهارة جديدة. فخذوها هذه قاعدة، لما الاستمرار صحيح حلو وكويس ولكن الاستمرار على الخطأ حيخليك خطأ. فعشان كذا إحنا نتعلم من الخطأ، فالتعلم المستمر راح يساعدكم كثير. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Maha. So obviously, thank you, Maha, Hamza, Saleh, for obviously sharing so openly throughout the session. And I think it's clear to see that the message is clear, that you don't need to have a flawless CV, dozens of ship titles in order to succeed. I think what matters the most is showing your contribution clearly, keeping your portfolios fully up to date, keeping them focused, persisting through the process, and making sure that you're taking the time to hone your skills, upskill yourself, learn new tools, learn new technology. And if you do this, then hopefully when the roles become available, you'll be set up and ready to succeed in landing your first opportunity within this awesome industry and get to do what you all love, which is ultimately making games for people to enjoy. So I'd just like to obviously thank the panelists, and hopefully those that are on this call can take away not just the tips from that, but also actions that you can start to apply straight away on a sort of a day-to-day basis. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having
Thank you.
us.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome.
I guess we will take a couple of questions from you guys. If you guys have any questions for Hamza, Saleh, Maha, or John, this is the time to ask. I think we have a couple of questions in the chat. Let's see. From Maryam, there's a question for Saleh. Saleh, since you work at Steer, how do companies guide the position of level designer? I'd like to know if there is another title for it.
So without sharing many details about how we do it at Steer specifically, usually at the junior level, we have a general, and this maybe I'll tie it to John's earlier advice. So we start at the general level. So you're expected to be a generalist as you join as a game designer, junior game designer. As you start to level up and you start to become like a mid-level designer, a senior designer, they start to expect you to become more specialized. So either an economy designer, a level designer, technical designer, whatever type of designer you want to, like whatever specific skills you like you've really honed through the years, maybe a system designer or something else. So I don't know if that specifically answers your question, but as a junior designer, you're expected to know a bit of everything. You're expected to know a little bit of level design, a little bit of system design, a little bit of economy design, technical design, a little bit of everything, because you're expected to kind of do a bit of every type of design. Any task that will come your way, you're expected to know how to do it. But then those like really big tasks, they're a bit under the supervision of those like more senior level. I hope that answers your question, Miriam. I don't know.
I think just to touch on that, it sounds like okay,
Yeah,
perfect. I was going to say, yeah, I just think for that entry point is almost getting your foot in the door in any form of design, and then trying to subspecialize once you're there, and sort of try and direct yourself into level design if that's where the passion lies for
Exactly,
you.
Yes.
Is almost just getting that foot in the door in any type of design capacity, and then allow yourself to develop into that sort of true level designer is probably the way to get up and running.
And usually like they will see like if your skills like more geared, for example, towards like gameplay design, usually like the type of tasks that you'll be getting might be more towards gameplay design, but you'll also be expected to do like GDDs and feature design and like all of the type of others, so that you'll be a more rounded designer as a junior designer. But then again, like if you want to specialize, that will be something you'll talk with your manager. Like this is the type of skills I want to grow as a designer. This is the type of career path that I want to grow as a designer.
Perfect. There's actually a question here that I think would be aimed towards Hamza from Bador, which is, as a programmer, should I include code samples in my portfolio, or is it enough to explain what I did and show results with images and videos?
Honestly, in my opinion, I don't usually include code samples. I usually just explain what I did in that specific project. I think different people could have like different ways of doing something, and yeah, I would usually just stick to explaining what I did without like including code samples. But I'm curious to hear your opinion on that, John.
I feel that you probably don't need to include samples. I think more explanations around and showing the results of that would be enough. I think that if you then were to go on a call with the individual from whether it be a lead engineer or a principal or even a sort of technical director, who then wanted you to show that code, you're in a position to be able to present that across through screen sharing or however it might be. But I think in the initial portfolio, I don't feel that you need to put code samples within that. I think it's just a thorough explanation and a visual display of what it is that you're able to do should suffice enough for the reader to be able to see your capabilities and determine whether you're worth being put through to a particular stage of an interview, in my opinion.
Amazing.
Perfect. Did we have any more questions for the panel at all?
I'd be curious, since maybe no one else has a quick question. What are you guys seeing in terms of use of AI? Whether it's for coding, testing, are you using it just on tools? Has your studios established a policy allowing its use for specific things? I don't know. What has it been like for you, Saleh? Can you answer?
I don't know, if they find out how much I use AI, they might fire me. No, definitely there's a lot of utility. I'd say like we use it on a daily basis. We use it in building our tools. We use it for testing. We use it. I use it for like checking my GDDs, making sure that everything makes sense. Like I use it in everything. in terms of like policies, I'd say like we're still not there yet, but I think like in the future, like it's something that's going to be integrated in every company out there. Like it's just like it's the future. Like there's no getting around it.
How about you, Hamza?
Yeah, I also use AI pretty much daily. There are some like simple tasks that you would want to get out of the way pretty fast, and the AI could help you in doing that, like, and it would save you a lot of time. Like, but obviously you should know what you are adding to your project, and not just blindly, copying and pasting whatever you get into the like your game. But yeah, it is very helpful to me. I use it on a daily basis. And sometimes I want to like just make sure if is this the fastest way, or can I improve it? Just it does help me a lot. And there are AI tools are integrated to IDEs nowadays. So if you use like Visual Studio Code or JetBrains Rider, uh, yeah, you can. There's also Cursor. Uh, there are a lot of tools that you could use that will help you in like programming, and it will improve your workflow definitely 100%.
Maha, any thoughts on the art side?
Yes, he's a good teacher for me. When I learned Unreal Engine, every minute I ask him, what's the meaning of this note? How can I write this code? Tell me about the difference between Python and C++. And yes, it's helpful.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I was just talking to some people over at Santa Monica Studios. They make God of War, and Sony has established very, very sharp. Their biggest concern is using it for anything related to concept art, because they don't know where the source might be coming from. But they are allowing for things like, if you're writing simple tools, but anything that's actually going into the final game is something that, at least for now, they are putting a pretty hard lockdown on. And they've been developing their own, they've been taking the LLMs and bringing it in because, when you're using something like Unreal, I don't know what you guys think of Unreal. I think it's a huge headache. There's a lot of undocumented stuff. And imagine that you could gather all of those, through Reddit and stuff, and you can put it into the LLM. So now when the developers are saying like, okay, I'm having a problem with such and such, that LLM is actually able to pull up that information. So I think it's a balance, but thank you for sharing. That's pretty interesting. So I think we're at the top of the hour now. Jumana, do you want to wrap things up?
Yes, thank you so much everyone for being here, and thank you Hamza, Saleh, and Maha, and of course John. This has been really, really great, and I'm pretty sure that our guys are going to take all of that. Do you listen? Do you hear me, guys? They're going to take all of this back, and they're going to make use of it, and which is a great segue to announcing the assignment. And I'm going to leave Ray to talk more about that, but we are going to ask you to submit an assignment to hopefully help you get that step out of the way and get the fresh information implemented in developing your portfolio and CV and personal statement. Ray, do you want to tell them more about the assignment?
Oh, sure. So those of you that know me, I never like you guys not to have anything to do, right? So just really quickly, over this whole masterclass series, again, is to help you guys get off the ground. And we want to have, real action items that you each week as you go through this are going to help you move forward. So this one was about, what you need to do to have things like your basic tools, like the CV and the portfolio. Next time we'll get together, we'll talk a little bit more about, where are the jobs, and not only in the game sector, but, as John alluded to earlier, being able to look at other sectors where your skills as artists, programmers, and designers can be leveraged. So, we want to make this a community effort, and this is up to you guys, but what we're hoping to do is get you to put together and post your CV or resume, your portfolio link or link to your website, as well as a personal statement that you would have, right? So a single sentence that kind of defines what you're aiming for. You know, I'm a junior technical designer for mobile puzzle games, you know, things like that. And what we'd like you to do is to post it into the Discord, so the channel that we set up, and you will see that there is a channel for assignment 1. So we'll send out the instructions. I'm just giving a quick overview. But the idea is that, you know, for you to post, and then as a community for us to give feedback, right? And I'll certainly make sure that John has a chance to get in there as well. Maybe he can throw in some of his advice. But you know, I think it is important for us to work together. And yeah, the idea again would be that by getting that feedback from the community, that you know, it'll help you become stronger, right? So, you know, as you do post things in, also take a look at what other people are posting, and if you can, we always ask, you know, give a response. You know, what are things that are clear? Is there anything that you would suggest to improve? You know, are there any questions? Things like that we would put in there. Okay, so it's pretty basic. You know, obviously, the sooner that you can put it up there, the sooner you can get feedback. I think the community that we have in this group is really important for us to share. And you know, at the end of the day, as I always tell everybody, the success, your success, the success of the industry, all of that, it's still going to be a group effort, right? And I think if you guys are willing to do that, that'll be great. There is going to be an assignment each of the weeks, and as Jumana mentioned at the beginning, those of you that actually complete all the homework will have like a draw and set up a time where you can actually get one-on-one consultation to really look closely at your resume. I'll get some mentors and make sure that we, you know, support you. But I do think that, I mean, the intent of this whole masterclass series is to really help you get out there. I think the market is pretty challenging, but there are some really great opportunities within the kingdom, not only with studios like Steer and Table Night and Manga, but we are also starting to see more indie studios, right, that are starting to stand up. You've probably heard of Nomadroid and Starvania and these studios that, you know, Fahi, that are now actually at a point that are getting investment funding, which in turn means that there are job opportunities. They're going to be able to fund jobs. And, you know, it is a bit different than working at a more established studio like Steer, and you have more of a specific role. If you guys are working in an indie studio, it's likely that you're going to be wearing multiple hats, right? The small teams, you've got to be agile and being able to work. So anyways, like I said, we are going to, we'll crystallize all the instructions for homework number 1. We'll make sure that it's posted in Discord so you can check that out. You know, please engage, right? Everyone here is here to support you. And we want to make sure that, I think if this industry is going to grow, it's not because we're bringing in a bunch of expats. It's going to grow because there's Saudis like yourself that are stepping into the role, figuring things out and moving forward. So you've got to take that plunge. I saw people commenting about imposter syndrome. I actually think that's a good thing, right? Keeps an edge, keeps you moving forward. And I live with imposter syndrome all the time. So if I have to live with that for the past 30 years, I think you guys should suffer with it as well. Okay, I think that's it, Jumana. I'll leave it to you.
Yes, thank you, Ray. Again, thank you, John, Hamza, Saleh, and Maha. This is great. And everyone, thank you for being here. We're not going to take much of your time. Just keep an eye out on the Discord channel, and you'll get all the information there. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night. And we'll see you in the next session. The next session will be next month, October 13th. You'll get that info also on the Discord channel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, John, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Maha,
Thank you,
Hamza.
John.
All right.
Good night.
Good
Have a
luck,
good
Thank
everyone.
you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Hamza. Thank you, Saleh.
By the way, Jumana, if you want, can you hear me? If you want, you can share